So today we're going to talk about something that's kind of taken the internet by storm lately. It's gotten a lot of people excited, including myself, and, well, we're going to explore that today. But before we do, if you're new here or you haven't already, I highly recommend you check out my main channel. That's where my good quality stuff is. I find good games and talk about them, and if you are interested in that at all in any way, please do go check it out. It's the good stuff, all right? It's nothing like what I'm doing here. So, with all that being said, we'll get into the big boy here. So, gosh, in fact, no, before I go pressing the play button, we're gonna need some context. So, if I just recompile, yeah, you know what, that'll do. That'll do. Right, okay. Someone somewhere has figured out how to port, not emulate or anything like that, full on port Sonic Unleashed onto the computer. And that, in fact, this right here just sums it up. That is something that I don't think I imagined seeing anytime soon. It comes complete with game settings and everything like that. Everything you need to adjust the game to your system specs and your likings and all that kind of stuff. We've got uncapped frame rates, higher resolutions, the whole shebang, and that is wild to me. But that's not the only thing. Now, say what you will about Sonic Unleashed, okay? We'll talk about that in a minute, but what these people have also done is they've released the tools for it as well. Because this is an Xbox 360 game, the public now has access to the tools needed to port Xbox 360 games onto the computer. And this is quite similar to the likes of, let's see if I can dig it up somewhere here. Here we go. This is along the lines of what happened to the Zelda games for the Nintendo 64. It's the same thing that has happened with, let's see if I can dig it up somewhere in here, the Jak and Daxter games for the PlayStation 2. We now have Jak 1, Jak 2 on the PC, and soon we're going to get Jak 3 as well. Well, whether that's coming soon or not, I can't be sure, but the main thing is, now this is happening with the Xbox 360, and that's genius, because what that means is we could be getting games like... It means we could be getting games like Crackdown back, because this has never had a port on anything. This game is stuck on the Xbox 360 and nothing more. We could be getting games like... Oh, gosh, I don't know, fucking... A game that I used to play back in the day, say what you will about it, but again, it's one of these games that have been stuck on the platform it came out on. But now we have the tools to get games like this back. Gosh, what else? Fucking... Wasn't like Split Second. What was that one racing game? Fucking... We could be seeing games like Split Second come back. You kind of see the idea. Games that we just want back. And now, while not guaranteed, because we need people who will actually work on these games in the first place and port them, the main point is, now stuff like this is possible in the near future. And that is all thanks to whoever it is who decided we're doing this. It's wild to me, and that's got to be like a huge win for the Sonic community in general. Because look, I hate being a Sonic fan. All right, we've not had a good game since, I think I said, what was it, Sonic Generations. That was probably the last time we got a good Sonic the Hedgehog game from the official guys, outside of, what was it, Shadow Generations. Outside of Shadow Generations, because this game actually turned out pretty good, actually. It gives us a little bit of hope. But essentially, what is possible? What is possible going forward? Oh my god, I don't know. But we're not here to... I think that's the most I can say in terms of the future of older gaming from the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 days. It's an exciting time to be alive. But all in all, we're here to talk about Sonic Unleashed, okay? Let's dive in. So... So, I've already spent some time with this. I've had a good time with it, and we're going to talk about Sonic Unleashed and how... and whether that is still a good game even today. One thing's for sure, though, this has been a nostalgic trip for me because... oh, man. Because I know we always had the mod for Sonic Generations that allowed us to play through the daytime stages and all that. And that was basically the best that you could get from this game anyway. But there's something about being able to play through this game again, and the whole experience that is Sonic Unleashed. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I think the easiest way to start off here would have to be... I think we'll have to just start off with the whole point. Why is this game special in the first place? Okay, yeah. Oh, it's so smooth as well, man. I think the first thing is, this is just something I never thought we would ever goddamn see, man. It's so smooth, man. Because back in the day, when this first came out, I think it just ran at like 30 frames per second or something. And just knowing that this is Sonic Unleashed, man. And it is working on my computer and it looks gorgeous, bro. Oh my god. Let's get to the end right here, and here we go. Dude! Oh my god. We've got this game back, man. And that is just great. Yeah, in case you can't tell, this has been making me smile the whole time I've been playing through it. I think the first thing that I can say about Sonic Unleashed is it was one of many Sonic games that was kind of two parts, if you know what I mean. In fact, since I'm looking at it, this will be easier. This is the game that had also this gameplay in it. And we will explore that in a minute. Fucking... oh my god. It's all happening so fast. Sonic Unleashed, man. So, as you can tell, the gameplay for this is got such big energy, and you can definitely tell why folk are just so happy to have this back. Me too, as well, actually. I'm not gonna lie. But I think, as we all know, it was also paired with the other half. And let's see if we can, like, just get to the point. Let's see. So if I switch it to nighttime, and that's another thing I quite like about this world map is you could rotate the sun and like change the time of day. It's just a nice little touch sort of thing. I appreciate that about Sonic Unleashed. The presentation as a whole, you know. So if I do that, does that switch it to... It does. Okay. So this was the game that introduced the werewolf thing, the werehog. And Sonic the Hedgehog games have always been kind of split like this ever since, Sonic Adventure, where they always do this thing where they introduce the good gameplay part, the bit that you came for, the whole Sonic the Hedgehog part of the game, and then they introduce something like this that's not that. And in this case, they thought, let's be God of War. Let's be Devil May Cry. And it's well, we'll get into it. So the first thing you'll notice is this is kind of your traditional platforming, slower paced exploration kind of gameplay, along with it's so I think the first thing I can say about that is look the Werehog gameplay is fine. The worst you'll get out of this is you won't mind it. You won't mind it, but it's definitely not what you come here for. The interesting thing is I'm starting to hear on the internet that people are like, this was an amazing game all along, but I think what's happening is, and it's the same thing that's happening to me, is it's just the nostalgia factor that's kind of playing up here. And it's kind of what's making me go, I don't mind it, because it's just kind of connecting with, you know, the childhood part of when I first played this game, you know. It's funny, because there's stuff that I do kind of like. Let me get one thing straight. I don't think that the Werehog was a bad idea. I just think they could have done something different with it that wasn't Devil May Cry, a beat-em-up game, in a game about going fast, you know. I think if they had changed this half of the game to be something a little more relevant to going fast, that would have been fine. I noticed how the boost formula, like in the daytime stages, you feel like a fucking powerhouse and all that kind of stuff, training through levels like you're destroying everything in your path. And it makes me wonder if there could have been two sides to that type of gameplay, where being the regular Sonic the Hedgehog could have been a bit more light and still speedy gameplay in that, and then being the Werehog could have still been fast gameplay, but this time you feel like a fucking train going through levels and that sort of thing. And instead they gave us a hack and slash, which is just strange to me. You can tell that they weren't lazy with it, I guess. They put a lot of work into animating the player character and making him expressive and stretchy, and all of the combos in that are creative and flashy. But it's like, what's it doing here? Why is it in a Sonic the Hedgehog game? I think the common thing you're going to get out of this side of the game is you won't mind it, I guess. It's not going to be the worst thing you experience. It's just going to leave you waiting for the actual game to happen. Now, in terms of this port itself, they have definitely done a couple of things to this game to relieve a lot of what was wrong with it in the past. And the first thing would be, I wonder if I can actually do that now. So yeah, we got an options menu in this game, and it's great because you can change plenty of things about the game. Mainly the two different versions of the game on, the quote-unquote next-gen hardware of the time, that being the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. Now, this is the Xbox 360 version we're playing, but it does allow you to change a few things, such as like the loading screens when you're changing between your two forms. Because what was it? When you're in the little hub areas, you could do a thing where you could change the time of day and you can change the loading screen for it and all that kind of stuff. Which is a neat little touch. It's just a neat little touch. But I think mainly... Oh my god. So, if I switch this on, most of you will remember this. Oh yeah. So while this is playing here right now and fades off into the distance, that was like probably the big thing about the Werehog gameplay that made it fucking unbearable to play through. And that was every time you got into a fight, you had to listen to the fucking... It did not vary a single time. No. Throughout the entire game, that is what you had to listen to whenever you were fighting stuff in Sonic Unleashed. And that was a nightmare. But what they have done is they've given us an option now that allows us to switch the fucking thing off, and that's great. I don't have to fucking lose my mind every time I play this game now. That's nice. So, you know. And it is, I think mainly it is that one singular thing that just makes this gameplay bearable now. It changes it from, oh fuck, here we go for 20 minutes straight to, I don't mind it. It's fine now. And honestly, I think that's like the best we're ever gonna get from this game these days now. There's not much you can do to change this gameplay because obviously too much effort has gone into making the stages and the moveset. You can't change that. It's hard baked into Sonic Unleashed now. There's nothing more you can do about it. Especially when it comes to porting the game. And that's kind of why, at the end of the day, the most you can say is, well done, guys. You've gone above and beyond when it comes to just giving us the game back. And again, the game's gorgeous as well. This is because this has not been remastered or anything. No, it's not been remastered. It's been ported, and it's just wild to see how gorgeous the game looks. The game looks great. And again, I think it's just one of those things that makes even this side of the game bearable. It's like, you know what, fine. Fine. Because yeah, the platforming is not very, you know, it's just slow. It's even compared to like other traditional platformers, it's not the greatest. Even compared to like good hack and slash games, it's not that great. But it's fine. At least it looks pretty doing it, you know? It does various things that just kind of relieve that stress of playing a generic beat 'em up. It's kind of a shame when I think about it, because there's so much to admire about the quality presentation that has gone into Sonic Unleashed as a whole, and to see all of that talent go into what none of us were really looking for. But you know, I guess at least they did. I don't know. I mean, at least it is. At least it is the thing we weren't looking for, the highest quality it could possibly be, rather than not that. It's odd. It's odd. Sonic Team have always had an odd approach to Sonic games, man. They could never just let their niche be their niche. They had to do a weird thing with it where it's like, nah, we gotta put in something that nobody asked for. It's annoying as well because the platforming doesn't feel good in this. It's there's no momentum behind it. It feels like you're forcing yourself through it. There's a lot of that thing that you do when you're like reaching, you know what I mean? Where you're going like, oh, come on, a little bit further. That's what platforming in this game feels like. You're going like, oh, come on. There you go. It's like it's doing the Sly Cooper thing as well, where like you can interact with all these things you can grab onto by pressing like the B button or the circle button. But it just doesn't feel nearly as good as that. I think this came during a time where like every game just had to be a beat 'em up. It reminds me of Crash of the Titans as well, except Crash of the Titans actually did it pretty good because they had this unique take on beat 'em up mechanics. And that was like the whole taking over the Titans as being the giant thing. But not only that, they also mixed it up with the platforming that Crash Bandicoot was always known for. At least it didn't stray too far from what you wanted from Crash Bandicoot. Well, in here, it's just a complete flip on its head. It's not what you think of when you think of a Sonic the Hedgehog game. It was very out of touch. I think even back then it was like moments like this just didn't run well as well. But here it's just running buttery smooth, like nothing's going on. It's great. It's gorgeous. And at least it's that. At least it is that. I was spending all of yesterday as well trying to understand what the combat wants from me. Because you'll notice how in a good combat system, there's usually like a sort of pattern, a bit of a rhythm to follow. Because I think what the combat wants you doing, for the most part, is beating up the big guys enough so they're, flashing above their heads, and then you do these finishing moves on them. Which look flashy, but they don't feel good to do because they're like this very constrained button prompt things that just don't let you, they don't let you go ham like a good hack and slash should probably feel sometimes. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, so for people who are going to play through this again, to save yourself like a massive headache playing through this half of the game, I highly recommend not upgrading this guy like I foolishly did in the start, because I thought, I'm just going to upgrade the gameplay that I enjoy the most. Don't touch this. Don't touch this for a wee while. Just put it all in here first, because there was a bit that I got stuck on, and I couldn't get past it for, I think it was like 2 hours or something, because I didn't put any upgrades into this part of the game. And seriously, just put it all in here to start, because it'll make this half of the game just that bit more you don't mind it, if you know what I mean. I've just tried to put it all into the damage that I deal, the strength part, because it means I don't have to fight these guys for as long. Right, so with all that established now, I guess I can just continue with the story part that I'm on. Is this where I'm at? But if there's one thing that I've definitely been enjoying about this, it's definitely it's awkward to say, but the story side of this. Not that the story of this game is particularly impressive, but there was definitely a nice feel to it all. Like the whole presentation of it, the music and all that kind of stuff. I've never been a fan of reading speech bubbles and that, but you don't really need to do much of it to progress the story. Because if it was if the game was more split into, speed gameplay and then just these downtime moments like this, the game would have been like infinitely more, if you know what I mean. But I think because a lot of Sonic Unleashed was probably a good 70% gameplay that wasn't what you were here for, it's kind of what made Sonic Unleashed just a little bit underwhelming as a whole. It's so strange because I struggle to call this a bad game, but I also struggle to call this a masterpiece, if you know what I mean. Okay. Because I don't mind these little moments. I don't mind these moments of downtime and exploring a town and kind of figuring out what you've got to do next. Especially because it's got that nice little vibe about it. I'm not mad at this part of the game. It was just the Werehog gameplay stages that just... It was enough for me to go like, why the fuck did you guys do this? Could you not think of something else to do? Because I remember hearing that folk didn't like the design of the Werehog and that. And look, I'm not bothered by that. I'm not bothered by how the guy looks. He looks fine. Dare I say he even looks kind of cool. Okay? He looks kind of cool. The fur effects are kind of cool as well, especially for the time. It was just nice to see. Nah, he looks alright. In fact, it probably looks even better than he ever did, like on a crisp display, a crisp modern display. Just neat little touches like that as well, but just helps bring the game's presentation to life that bit more. Oh, that was it. I just unlocked the stomp, so I gotta press this button down. I can do that. Oh gosh. A thing that I'm still getting used to is the fact that they put like the homing attack on the square button. Because I'm used to it being on the jump button. I kind of prefer it like that. Other people preferred it being on a separate button. Kind of like in Shadow Generations, you can choose whether you want it on the jump button or like how Unleashed did it. It'd be cool if they did that in the options menu here as well, where you could like choose whether you want the homing attack on the jump button or the square button, but it's fine. It's fine. I've been getting used to it, it's been taking me a little time to do. The stomp isn't quite as reliable as it is in Generations and like that. It surprised me. Ooh! Am I about to get a new wall jumping ability? Cool. That's the thing that I quite liked about Unleashed as well. As you progressed through the game, you'd get like more stuff that you could do with the moveset. I think that was perfectly fine. Is it the wall jump? Hell yeah. That's my boy. I think the thing with any story-based game? I think with any game like this, it's good to break up the gameplay with like other stuff to do, and that's perfectly fine. And again, it's why I'm actually alright with the hub world stuff. It's more varied. It's more... Just take a moment to breathe. Take some time. Either. Just the main thing is, it would have been nice if they could do something to incorporate some kind of momentum-based or speed-building thing with the Werehog gameplay. Even if it was like... If it brought a little bit more energy to like the platforming and stuff, just something. I think they could have done something to not make the gameplay feel so jarring compared to what it is that most of us loved about Sonic Unleashed. And that's another thing I quite like, is like finding like all the medals and that. In fact, I think one thing that I noticed, and I could be making it up. I'll probably look it up in fact. So I think another thing that they've done with this port is that they've made the progression a lot faster, because back in the day, you had to find a certain amount of those medal things. Let's see, I'll go find another one, hold on. because they're relatively easy to find. Here we go. So the progression of the game was all tied to these bloomin' medal things here. Your sun medals and your moon medals. The sun ones unlocked the daytime stages, the ones where you're playing as Sonic the Hedgehog, and then the moon ones were the ones that unlocked the Werehog ones. And the issue with that is you would inevitably get to a part in the game where you could not play the next part of the game because it was locked behind how many of these things that you have. Now I'm going to check. I'm actually going to check just now whether that's true, because I think they've changed it. Oh, I see. In fact, no, this is great. I'm glad that this has happened. So, this is another thing that we can now have with the Unleashed Recompiled project, because not only do we get Sonic Unleashed back, we can also get mods for it now as well, which is also great. That's great. But going back to my point, okay, so they still have the medal limitations. I guess I've just been playing the game that good because I'm pro gamer. But again, you can just mod it in that you don't need the medals and you'll be just fine. It's again why this sort of thing is just amazing, because now we've got this game even better than it ever was before. It's, this is the kind of stuff that just makes me, it restores my faith in humanity a little bit sometimes. I know it's just a computer game, but I smile about it. I smile about it. I go, ooh, smile. And again, it's kind of why I don't really mind this. It's like a movement-based puzzle, using the separate move sets to figure out what you gotta do. That's perfectly fine. This is a fine way to progress the story, where you can't afford to make big, bombastic stages all the time. And again, like, now that I'm listening to it, it's like the soundtrack for this game. I think the soundtrack for like a lot of Sonic games has always been just top notch, but like, it's like just sinking it in and being like, man, this is just nice. It's a part of what makes a game memorable. When you think of games like, gosh, because what other games did this sort of thing? You saw that in like your Zelda games and all that, your Mario 64s and all that. Games that used the soundtrack to build memorability, whether that was in the menus or hub worlds or like any downtime bits. It was all there to make you remember it. I would appreciate it if like the hub world stuff didn't involve too much talking to people all the time. I've never enjoyed that in computer games where you've got to walk up to people and like text bubbles. Text bubbles have never been an engaging way to tell a story, but I think this game kind of gets away with it only because it does everything else so well. Kind of all comes down to how the game looks as well. Like, it's wild to me that like most Sonic the Hedgehog games that come out even today don't look nearly as good as Sonic Unleashed did. It's disappointing, like. They've definitely lost their ability to make a game look good. Because I think in Shadow Generations, that's where they've kind of been trying again to make their games look just a little more pristine, but it's definitely not quite to the level that Sonic Unleashed was. And again, like, this is just a nice area to look at. Oh, and the downbeat track as well is just nice as well. And again, the exploration is pretty good. They hide things everywhere, like things that you would never have to find. They're optional, but it does just draw you in a little bit more. The Tomb Raider in me. Just discovering things in the little nooks and crannies. And I think that's the thing. It's like, even right now, I'm just enjoying the game. without it even being the main thing, because this part of the game does a very good job at what it's trying to be. It's trying to be the downtime of the game, and it does it very well. And it again kind of comes down to this thing that many good games do, where you don't need a game to be what's the word I'm looking for? You don't need the entirety of your game to be the high action thing that you've come for all the time. It doesn't have to be that all the time. Now, I think ideally you want a very good percentage of the game to be that, but you don't need it all to be like that. Because I understand that sometimes you just want to make a game last a little bit longer, you want to give it a little bit more depth and that sort of thing. You don't want to tire out your audience with just the one trick throughout the entire thing. And it is, to this game's credit, what it does well in these parts of the game. Not the werehog parts of the game, but these parts of the game. Oh, you know what? I think another thing I like about this game compared to the later games of Sonic the Hedgehog is just these little details that they put into the Sonic model, where you can stand on stairs and his feet will actually adjust to the terrain and stuff. Dude, it's a little thing and it's not always necessary, but I like when I see it being there. You know what I mean? Where it's like I'm standing on an angled little bit and it's there, just being like, yeah, I stand at angle now. My feet adjust. It was truly a sign that this was Sonic Unleashed was definitely one of the, dare I say, passion projects of Sonic Team. Back when whoever was working on Sonic Team fucking cared about what they were making. And I think that's the main thing that I appreciate about Sonic Unleashed, is even though it wasn't a full-on knockout of the park masterpiece through and through, it was definitely one of those games that just cared about delivering you that full-on experience sort of thing. You could tell that it just cared so much. And I think that's a part of what I'm getting the most out of this game playing through it again, is I think we didn't realize how good we had it back then, when games in general just, even when they were being a bit weird and a bit off the beaten path, and even sometimes, dare I say, kind of missing the point, they were still just trying things because they cared to. While I think today we see a lot of formulaic stuff that doesn't try anything new anymore, and a part of me has got to wonder if we have kind of done that to ourselves with how, especially with like how brutal game reviews used to be back then as well. Like, I wonder if I could, you know what, yeah, let's take a look at that real quick before we like continue with this. Let's see if we can find like some of them old school reviews from back in the day.
After playing Blinks, I just gotta play something that's not that. So I'm gonna review Sonic Unleashed, a game that's very hard to give a fair score to, so challenge accepted.
I had this at the 9.5 spot for my top 10 worst Sonic games list before I took it down, and also
Whoa! What? Wait, what?
I had this at the 9.5 spot for my top 10 worst Sonic games list.
9.5 spot for top 10 worst Sonic games, bro. You see what I mean? People were brutal back then, and it didn't deserve it, man. What the fuck? Dude, game reviewers were the worst back then because they had no idea how good they had it, bro. If they could just see what we get in this day of age, bro, they would not be saying half of the shit they would have said back then. Fuck it. we partially just deserve what we got today because there were so many people like this taking games that tried and going, this was the worst shit ever, and it was, oh my god. And I was just as bad as well. It was so difficult to impress me with anything because I refused to like shit. And that is a big part of what the community was like back then. It was cool to not like anything. Like, let's see. I'm gonna see if I can just point out some games that, like, I love today that I wouldn't have liked back then because of this stubbornness we all had to just not be impressed by anything. Like, let's take a look. I bet I can point out a million games in here that I initially would have said, it's not that good. Let's see. Okay, right, so Dishonored, believe it or not, I did not like this game back when it first came out because it wasn't an open world game with blah, 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 blah. Dude, if I met that version of me right now, I would punch him, bro, because this is one of the greatest games of all time, and you would just get brutal people who would fucking clobber games that did not nearly deserve it. Let's see, what else did we have? Hold on, this is still on release date. Good. Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs got it brutal because people were there comparing it to, like, what was it? They would do this thing where they would say, all of the mechanics that it does is not nearly as good as any other game that would do it. When they were missing the point of, this was a game that did multiple things good. It did multiple things as a whole good, and that's kind of what made this game very good because it was just this nice complete open world experience with stuff to do, bro. We clobbered this game back in the day. What else did we have? Let's see. Watch Dogs got it bad as well because Watch Dogs is not a bad game. This is actually a pretty good game. But again, we fucking clobbered it because Ubisoft did that thing where they made the graphics look better in E3 and then it didn't look as good when it first came out. And that was enough for the rest of us to go, the game is ugly looking, it's a bad game. And then they did that thing where they said the story's bad as well because the main character's a hypocrite. It was like, that's the point. That was the point in the story. What are you all talking about, you fucking dumbasses, bro? Let's take a look. What else did we have? Payday 2, one of the greatest games of all time, one of the games of all time, got clarted because the graphics weren't as cool looking as like some other games were like Call of Duty and the like. Fuck off, you people from back then. Fuck me from back then, you know. Go on, I'll do one more. Dead Island got it brutal as well because for some reason people were what was it? Let's take a look. Here we go. Dead Island got it brutal all thanks to this one trailer. It was because it was like one of them sad and emotional trailers. It's like, oh, this is so sad. We got a child that died, and it's a very well done trailer as well because like it all plays backwards and stuff like that. Very sad indeed. Brutal. But thanks to this trailer, fucking Dead Island got it brutal because people were expecting The Walking Dead or something like that. Instead getting what was essentially just a fun as fuck Clobber the Zombies game. And people hated it because it was like a shallow story or something like that. It's like, what were you looking for a good story in a game like this for anyway? You fucking stupid people, bro. Dude, we might have deserved what we get today, man. We might have done this to ourselves, bro. Anyway. Yeah, let's get back to this game. But yeah, while this game definitely left a lot to be desired in terms of how much time it has you spending in the werehog stages, it was definitely not one of the worst Sonic games of all time. This was one of the better ones. Is it one of my favorite Sonic games of all time? No, not really, but I still like it. And it does really just sadden me just how spoilt we were for good shit back then, that we had to clobber anything that wasn't perfect. And that definitely probably had a hand in the state of gaming today, where everything's got to be an open world and everything's got to last for hundreds and hundreds of hours and stuff like that. We can't have a short game, and we can't have a short and sweet game anymore, sort of thing. A part of why, like, a lot of the big budget stuff just goes towards following a checklist and trying nothing new. But to be fair, I think the issue with Sonic Team is that they were trying too many new things and never building on any of the stuff that they came up with. They would never stick to what worked. They would oftentimes just kind of ditch everything that they came up with and try something completely different. It's like they would just refuse to stick. They refused to build upon what worked about their previous games. And I think Sonic Unleashed was maybe a little bit of the beginning of them trying to do that, because what was it? They did Sonic Unleashed, realized that their boost formula was actually very fun, and kind of stuck with it, but only kind of, because what was it that came after that? It was Sonic Colors, wasn't it? And they would make it so it was the boost formula, but there were so very few boost stages to play through, because a lot of the stages you would play through would be like these sort of gimmick stages that took away from the point. But they did sort of stick with it, and then that carried over to Generations, where we just got some of the best that the boost formula had to offer. But once again, it was kind of, you know, at least it was more half and half, because they did like, oh, it's the classic Sonic the Hedgehog now and all that. But they definitely would have benefited from sticking to what worked a hell of a lot more than they had been. Because they always had to put some unnecessary amount of focus on this kind of stuff. I think what most of the community is crossing their fingers for now, at least for the mainstream stuff, the stuff made by Sonic Team and Sega and all that, is that they hear what we were saying about Shadow Generations and just go, can you please stick with what you did there? Because that game got to the point. It did a fantastic job of being a Sonic the Hedgehog game. Through and through as well. Like, the entire game was Sonic stages. Just the main thing they did was they would make it so the Act 1, what would you call it? A stage? Stage 1 acts? Yeah, 2 acts. Okay, so it was like a stage with 2 acts. The first act would be all 3D entirely. And I appreciate that. And then the second act would be all 2D, which was fine. I think people were bothered about how the boost stages would kind of they would do this thing where they would mix it up. So like sometimes you'd be 3D, sometimes you'd be 2D, all in one level. And some people didn't like that, but I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all, because it broke it up, and I could still understand why they would like sometimes go to 2D, because I could imagine the 2D stuff was just a little easier to make, and it allowed the stages to last a bit longer. And I think in Shadow Generations, making it so Act 1 was all 3D and Act 2 was all 2D, that I'm not mad about. But it definitely did a thing where whenever I play Shadow Generations now, I'm still only going to play half of the content, because I don't really come back for the 2D stages. I think if they made it so both acts were still just a mix of the two, I think that would have been a clever way to just kind of get people to play, to give people that replay value, that extra bit of replay value to the entire game, not half of it. But all in all, Shadow Generations is a massive step in the right direction, and I hope they stick with that approach to Sonic the Hedgehog. Will they do it? Probably not. Probably not. But I don't think there's really much that we have to worry about, knowing that the fan community have been coming in clutch for us. Like, pretty much every year we come across a disappointment like Sonic Frontiers. Now, look, people back up that game and be like, they're just wowed by the idea that they have an open world now. And an open world Sonic game is not a bad idea. It's a good idea, but it takes a lot of work to make that. And because we've not even gotten many good linear Sonic games for the past 10 years, what made them think they could make a good open world Sonic game is what was frustrating me. Because when you look at the world in Sonic Frontiers, it's bland, it's boring. There's one area that is totally grey. Where is the inspiration in that? And some people will praise Sonic Frontiers to high heaven because it doesn't matter. It's an open world game. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's not a fun game, bro. This video is setting me off today. And again, this is kind of where, like, the tedium of the Werehog gameplay just kind of starts to become apparent, you know? Because it goes for so long. And I think that's the other thing about the Werehog gameplay is, at least with the hub world gameplay, there's a nice thing about it. Here, not only is it not what you're looking for, but it eventually gets tedious about it as well. It's just wild. It's a part of what just makes you believe that the people at Sega or Sonic Team are just aliens, bro. They don't know what a computer game is sometimes. Stop it. Get over here. And what are half of these, like, enemy types as well? They're just... What's their system, then? Am I supposed to grab them? Apparently not. I just have to jump up and punch them. And die. No, don't make me do it again, man. Nah, don't make me do it again, man. No. You know what I mean? It's fucked, bro. Nah, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this again. Hold on. I'll do this later. Because what I really want to do, I want to get back to what made this game good, bro. We're gonna do that for 5 minutes. Let's take a look. Because you can play the DLC with this game as well. Hold on. Sonic needs to have learned the following skills to clear this stage. Stomping and wall jump. I've got those two. Okay. You know what? We'll explore some of the DLC in a little bit as well, actually. Because you can... If you find the files for the DLC, you can also put that into this game. And that's great. Let's see. So it needs to have learned the following skills to clear this stage. Stomping and the air boost. Okay, so I could try all of these. Dude, this stage had my favorite track in the game. So this was one of my favorite stages in Sonic Unleashed because the first thing is the track that's playing over it. It has this emotion behind it. This was one of the first stages that actually kind of made me shed a tear a little bit. It's one of these stages that just made me go, oh, look at my blue boy go. And then I think it's just like how sparkly everything looks, and there's a reminiscence about this stage. There's something about this stage that says, look how far we've come. And it's funny because, yeah, as much as this game leaves to be desired, it still does these... It's the day stages. It's the day stages that just do something special, that really does make it all worth it in the end. And it brought a tear to my eye back in the day, man. Even now, it just makes me feel like, man, look at this. Fucking look at this, bro. It's so full of what makes your eyes sparkle. all while being just a wicked game at the same time. All the light rays and stuff. And again, this is why I'm just glad to have this game back. And I think it's thanks to this game that I don't need to rely on, what is it, the Unleashed project anymore? To play through these stages now. It just makes it so much simpler for your Steam library and all that kind of stuff. And that's the other thing that I liked about Unleashed in their day stages, is that they didn't give you an A rank or an S rank. Do they do S ranks in this? I think they do. But they would make you work for a higher rank, and it just gave you all the more reason to play through the stages over and over again. And it's worth doing that because they're just so damn fun. They're so damn fun. Let's do that one. Yeah, do that. It'll help me for when I gotta get through the fucking werehog stage. You know what? There's a practical use of me doing this, actually. Just de-stressing while I build up my experience so I can fucking do the werehog stages easier. Right, so I'm curious, what's the deal with the DLC stuff? What's that all about? What's this purple one here? What kind of pink one? Are they like different stages? Because if they are, that's awesome. Or is it just different times a day? No, this is different. Dude, I didn't know this. Oh, cool. Dude, I like this game even more now. What the fuck? Wait, so there's multiple stages of each place now? That's what the DLC does? Dude, no way. Nah, there's no way. Let's play through this and find out. Cause now I've got like drift and stuff and there's lefts and rights to take? Nah! Hold on, again. Nah, we're doing this proper. Go on, son. Let's see what this is all about. Ah, cool. Ah, cool, bro. Very cool, very cool. I think a part of what made the boost formula so underrated is that people didn't quite understand what the challenge behind the boost formula is. Because folk were like, oh, you can just go fast whenever you want. It's like, yeah, but the point is, can you control it? That's what the boost formula is for. It gives you all of this power to go as fast as you want, but the whole thing behind it is how well are you going to handle that? You need to know when to boost and when not to boost. You need to be able to react to things quickly. It's a big part of what makes the boost formula so appealing. It may be a lot more on rails than other Sonic games are, but it still delivers this unique thing that none of the other Sonic games do, and that is just provide you just a massive sense of spectacle, this feeling of finesse, if you can do it right. Especially in Sonic Unleashed, it's like, it will kill you if you don't know what you're doing. I'll come back to this later, I think. I want to see, we got to take a look at like all the other stages that I've got so far. Because dude, I had no idea that there were like multiple day stages for each place. From what I remember, there was one day stage. Yeah, there was one day stage and one night one. So here, it's giving us a bunch of them. What the fuck? So that's, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for one place. That's awesome. Hold on. And they're all different, right? Dude, they knew how to do DLC back then. What the fuck? Dude, I'll be playing through these for days. Dude, to think, because Because what is it? You don't have to put the DLC onto this. But now that I'm seeing it, no, right, to anyone who wants to install this and play it, get the DLC with this, man, because it gives you Nah, we're doing our research right now. We're doing our research right now, bro. Right, which ones do I have, like, day stages for? Because it looks like you still gotta unlock them in that, but let's see. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, no, that doesn't count. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I've still not unlocked the thing yet. Dude! Oh my god! Get the DLC with this. It's worth it. Dude, this is the most sporadic I've ever been. Oh, cool! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is nuts! Get time, gather 30. Oh, so they're like challenge ones or something. But are they still different? Let's see. I'm gonna test this one out. I mean, even so. Oh, so it's like more difficult, which is even then still just good. So it's like an expansion on all the day stages, and I'm sure they've probably done it with the night ones as well, but who gives a fuck about that, really? Oh yeah, they like put more obstacles in it. Yeah, they put more life and death into it now, which again, I just appreciate. I'm fine with that. But yeah, no, that's cool, bro. Yeah, alright then. I'll do this fucking bit of the game, man. Fine. You think I care? I don't. Yeah, no, I still gotta make it so I can show off my favorite stage. What was it like? Yeah, no, the pretty much the best stage in this game. Because there's lots of great day stages in this game, and even more so now that I know that there's DLC stages as well. Dude, I had no idea. That gives me determination now. It's funny, these videos that I make are supposed to be like calm and nice background music, and most of it is just going to be me going, ooh, all this stuff. Wait, can I just skip this? Yeah, I'm not fighting these guys. If I can skip it. Yeah, nah, fuck off. I'm not fighting you guys if I can just run by. Okay, noted. You do not have to engage in every fight. It's like, I think I've said all that there is to say about the Werehog gameplay. I just want to get to the bit now. I want to get to the main bit. Because it's like, it's just my huge issue with Sonic Unleashed as a whole. It's got so much great stuff about it, but it also has this that just gets right in the way. It gets right in the way. Can I just skip it? Can I just skip it? Yeah, I think I'll just skip it, bro. It's not worth it. Yeah, anytime you can just skip the combat, do that, because this part of the game is not worth it. Wow, I got an A rank for that as well. That's the general experience that you're in for when it comes to Sonic Unleashed. It's an amazing game with a shite part of the game that takes up so much of your time. Okay, that's implying that there is some daytime stage somewhere to experience, but I don't know where. Oh, wait, was that it? Oh, is that it? There we go. I think that's it. Here we go, bro. There we go. Okay. Yeah. This is it. This is the stage that I've been waiting for. Oh, it's finally time, man. Go on, son. Go on, son. Give us a game. And again, it's just this energy that is unmatched in almost any other game. Yeah, you get it in like... Okay, no. It's oh, the boosting energy that is just unmatched compared to most games in general, man. Oh, you don't see it. You don't see it anywhere else. Oh, go on, son. And again, it was just another one of those stages where, because of the track playing behind it, it just gives you this great sense of reminiscence from the blue blur, man. It's why so many of us want Sonic the Hedgehog to be good. It's because of the sheer what he has done within the wreckage that is the Sonic franchise. We still have this, and it makes it so fucking difficult to just quit from, you know? I've seen people who aren't even Sonic fans adore this gameplay, and it is for fucking good reason as well. It's just nuts. It's unbelievably spectacular. Oh, and then you're crashing through buildings and stuff like that, man. And then it's like the demand, what the gameplay demands of you to maintain this speed, that feeling. It's like the reward for doing well in the game is the gameplay itself. Yeah, and then right here is just one of the defining moments of the game about to show itself here, man. Here it comes, the clock tower, and then here we go. This is the Sonic Unleashed moment right here. Look at this. Ah, what? Oh, I can't. Oh, I just can't. I think this hits harder than Generations does, actually. It might just. Booming gameplay, you know. Oh, there it is. It's done. A C rank, huh? Shall I try and go for, like, a perfect rank? I think I will. Fuck it. Let's see if we can retry the stage straight off the bat. What? What do you want? What is it? I'm making a video right now. What do you think of Sonic Unleashed? But you've never played it before. Well, I guess that's true, but like, how do you know that? You've never played the game before. Huh. Well, okay, well, I'm sorry for questioning you, bro. I'm sorry. I guess you're right. I guess you're right. The cat's got many points to make about this game. And there's like 4 other interpretations of the level as well. That's awesome. But nah, we got to do the big boy.
Here we go! Go! Yeah!
Come on. Come on. Get in, son, you fucking... Oh my god, yes! A rank, bro. That's what we want. Jesus, bro. This game is peak, bro. Go get it. It's not... Bro, go get Unleashed recompiled, man. It is so worth it. Even with the stupid ass werehog shit in it, that this is so wow. It's so wow, man. It's amazing because, like, I think Sonic Unleashed is probably the most representative of the state that the franchise is in. It's like the franchise, this game is full of so much shit game. But then you get to the good bit and it's amazing and you never want to let it go. It is so worth it in the end. Oh, A rank. There we go. Yeah, the game's something special, man, and the fact that we get to have it back now is just such a good moment, such a good thing. It's so wow. Yeah, I don't know what more to say. The internet is going wild because this is back, and it's for good reason. It's for good reason as well, man. You just can't. The Recompiled project. Go grab it. I'll link it in the description. I'll link it into the description. All of that. Wow.